Hi, this is Paul Palmer. I've been working for a long time with experts. At least they said they were experts. But how do you know? Well, for me, it's the results that they get. So, if you want to work with an expert, how do you know until you work with them that they're an expert? Well, I suppose you look at what it is they can achieve, what they can do. But most importantly, you need to understand what you want, what you need from that expert. For example, I've been working in the pharmaceutical industry now for 35 years. So I know a lot about quality assurance. I know a huge amount about systems, processes, about different manufacturing methods, good manufacturing practice, good distribution practice, QP, qualified person that is, responsible person status, and a lot of different training aspects. But what don't I know? Well, if you want an expert in pharmaceuticals and the compliance side and the quality side, meeting the requirements for the MHRA for developing a new site, yes, I'm your expert. But what if you want to sell your product to the NHS? Well, you're still in pharmaceuticals, but I've never sold a product to the NHS. I always find an expert, what they call an SME, subject matter expert. So then you think, well, what other things can you be an expert in and others not? Because everybody does something. Most of us are experts in something. Now, it might not be related to your job, it might be something personal that you really enjoy and you spend so much time at it, you've become an expert. And if you're an expert, what can you do? Well, you can go and teach it. You can continue doing whatever it is that your expertise in. You can help others. You can show people what it is that they need to do to get there. Now, when you are out doing something and you're auditing, so for example, let's take auditing as an example. How do you know the company that you're auditing has the expertise that you need? Well, you need to set your criteria. And I always think when you whatever it is that you're doing, you want to know your criteria beforehand. Now, in an audit, not really an audit, in a testing situation, it's acceptance criteria for calibration. What's the acceptance criteria? In an audit, well, what scope do you want to demonstrate that they meet? What legislation, what rules and regulations do they have to meet to be accepted? So that's your acceptance criteria. So then, if you go and audit somebody and they don't even know about the audit, about the acceptance criteria, they don't know about the scope of the regulations, how then can you demonstrate they have the expertise of something they don't even know about? Well, you need to then interpret what they do against the legislation. So, for example, if you're auditing in America, then they're going to be meeting the FDA requirements. But you want them to supply to the EU, or maybe they want to supply to the EU, and they want you to tell them that they're good enough. But they haven't looked. They don't know. They haven't tried. So what do you do next? Well, you can go and look and see what they can do, bearing in mind they won't understand your regulations that you're talking about. So how do you demonstrate they've got the expertise that you need? Well, you send an expert like me, and I go and review what they do against the requirements without expecting them to understand what it is that we're reviewing against, because it's not necessary. We can supply from Europe into the USA, provided we meet their requirements. And if our requirements are aligned with their requirements, we don't need to do anything extra. So, what does that mean when you come back to the expert in a field that you're looking for? Well, the expert needs to understand whatever it is that you want. They don't need to understand something that's completely obtuse and off topic. They don't have to be an expert in everything. So, an expert in the pharmaceutical guidelines for the EU, doesn't need to be an expert in food handling in South Africa. Well, how would that benefit them anyway? It wouldn't, would it? So next time you look for an expert, think about what it is that you're looking for. Make sure before you go and talk to somebody, you know what you want. Because to choose an expert, you need to know what the expertise is that they need to have to meet your acceptance criteria. That's it for today. It's Paul Palmer. Talk to you soon.